Today I'm beating Minecraft with 1 heart, but the only catch is I can kill anything with just 1 hit. So, to start off, I didn't really know what I was looking for, but eventually I came across a abandoned portal or ruined portal, however it goes. I found some pretty decent stuff in the chest. So then I used the axe I found in a chest to get some wood. And since I'd rather be safer than sorry, I did in fact get even more wood. So then I made a crafting table, some sticks, a pickaxe, and I went to get stone, and then made a stone pickaxe. I spotted some iron down in this lake, so I made a door and made my way down. I placed the door, and I started getting the iron. My stone pickaxe was a little slow, but it did in fact get the job done, and so after I collected all my iron, I found some coal, and so I got that as well, and smelted the iron, you know, everything like that, made an iron pickaxe, got the gold, you know, I was making good progress. Or at least I thought I got the gold, but it did in fact get burned by lava, and this one did too, almost, but, you know, I got lucky enough. So then I just decided to make a boat and set sail on the waters. I found an abandoned shipwreck. I didn't really find anything too good other than like a chest plate, you know, a map. So then I made a shield when I found land, started killing some cows for, you know, food and all that. And then I made a bed because it got dark and I'm scared of the dark a little bit. So after I got some good slumber, I got some iron, I killed an enderman, you know, I got even more iron, and this, you know, skeleton did in fact kill me. But fear not, because I made my way to a village, you know, I got some wheat for bread, and I got even more iron, because why not, and even more wheat for even more bread. And then I made my way into a deep, shallow, scary cave, and thank God for my quick, cat-like reflexes, because I killed the skeleton before it killed me. And then I was just simply trying to get into the cave without dying, so I was trying to, you know, take it slow, you know, be careful, and gravel was falling all around me. And then there were like 15,000 skeletons in this cave too, so that didn't help either. And then when I thought all was well, I was trying to make something, I forgot what it was, but a creeper tried exploding me. It was a close call, and then I did make shears. Meant to make a bucket, but and you know, you can never have too much iron, so I got even more iron, because you know what, you can never be too prepared. Killed more creepers, you know, another one, got more iron, dealt with more skeletons. And I guess eventually the skeletons got tired of fighting me, because eventually they started fighting each other, because, you know, little scrap in the middle of it, and this third skeleton was coming for me, so while the other two were fighting, I quickly swooped in, killed one skeleton, swooped in, and killed all the others, and I still died. So in my third life, I finally found a lava pool, and I smelted all the iron that I had scrapped up. I'm not too familiar with how to make the portals, so I was just kind of guessing. And I assumed I was doing something right, because it was kind of working. You know, it doesn't even matter the process, actually. The result is what matters, and the result was a portal, so that's all that matters. So after I finally got from point A to point B, I decided just to take a gander around, you know, see my surroundings. I threw some of the gold that I had at the stray piglins that were walking abroad, and they were kind enough to give me some pearls and, you know, some string, obsidian, nothing too good, but nothing too bad either. And so while I was scaling the mountains of the Nether, I couldn't find anything too good yet. I was just trying to, you know, just see what I could, because I don't even really know the tricks to finding the portals or the bastions or anything like that, and I am way too lazy to figure out how to, or like, you know, because that takes a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of time. And eventually I did find the bastion though, although it still felt like I was just facing a brick wall in this, you know, hard challenge. So eventually I did in fact find myself a little further into this ginormous bastion. I didn't realize how much of bastion there was. So eventually I did just craft some extra gold that I had with the gold nuggets that I had. I made my way down a little further to see what there was. I was a little scared, I must say. And eventually I found myself in the middle with all the gold, and that gold that's what I was trying to get. And so eventually I got there, but with 1 heart, you know, it's a little hard because these fellers are quite aggressive, but eventually I did get there, because thank God I can just one-hit everything, and so that's exactly what I was doing. So I did in fact get all the gold. I found some pretty decent stuff in the chest, stole it all of it, actually. You know, got even more gold, because, you know, why not? You know, it's good to be greedy sometimes. So I killed one of the aggressive piglin, and then I found another chest with some pretty decent stuff in it, and even more gold, surprise, surprise. and then I found even more of those aggressive ones and killed more of them. And then eventually I did find a patch of piglin that were like closed in, so I figured that'd be the most perfect spot to trade. So I threw all my gold at them, and then I just had to wait. And honestly, it didn't take long at all until I had all the pearls that I need, so eventually I made my way to where I needed to go next, which was the fortress. And you know what? I'm not even gonna put serious music over this. I'm not even gonna put fighting music over this because of how easy it was to get all these blaze rods. That's how calming it was. The fact that I don't even need to put like good music over it for it to seem like a good battle. And honestly too, pretty much all it was a waiting game for like, you know, just waiting for them to spawn. So, you know, I'd kill them, boom, boom, knocked right out, boom, knocked right out, boom, hit again, down, boom. And despite the fact that some of them were a little out of reach, I still did it. You know, boom, knocked out, boom, boom, boom. And, like this was the easiest it's ever been. It's like, boom, boom, easy. You know, I'll swing my fist left and right at these things, and they were just dying. But eventually I did die, but when I respawned, I figured I had enough blaze rods, and so I made my ender eyes, and I made my way right to that freaking portal. And eventually I did find a, like, midpoint of where this stronghold could possibly be. But, like, I would dig down, and all I would get is cave. And I didn't know where to look. Although I must say, it was quite pretty in this cave, you know what I mean? Like, you had flowers, I mean, you had little mobs occasionally, but other than that, you had the glowberries, you know, sparkling. But eventually I did go back up, because that cave isn't what I was looking for, but the ender eye kept drawing me back to the same exact place. So I was like, what the heck, man? Because, like, I'm digging down, but I'm not finding it. And so I'm basically just digging in every direction possible, because where's this stronghold at? So then I dug down more, and then I dug in even more directions, and I still wasn't finding it. And then eventually I just found my way back into that cave, and that cave is not what I was looking for. And I know those ender eyes don't in fact lie. Those ender eyes are truthful. They're honest, right? So now I was just kind of at a bump in the road here, because like I probably dug almost everywhere in like the vicinity of this place. So like I'm digging here, you know, digging there, and I'm still not finding this stronghold. And I think eventually I did finally see some like remnant of the stronghold, and eventually I was able to finally, like, you know, start looking around and stuff like that. But it took so long. It took ages. Like, and then I just finally found a room. So I started off on the journey on trying to find the room of the portal room. And I found some, you know, friendly mobs along the way. And honestly, I'm so glad it didn't take that long to find this, like, portal room, because I probably would have cried. But eventually I did find it, and it was pretty easy. So I took out the spawner, and I had just enough pearls to go to the end. So of course I just blocked off the entrance to make sure nothing else could get in. I set my spawn point, I put all the eyes on the frames, and boom. But beforehand, I was trying to make a bow, but I could not figure out for the life of me how the recipe went. So I was just kind of guessing here, and it was wrong. But eventually I did make my bow, and then I went in. So when I got to the end, I immediately started making my way out to all the pillars, and I started building up. And eventually I got this one, because, you know, which I don't really know why, because the entire point of this challenge was to one-hit everything, and I'm not sure why I even jumped off, but I did clutch it. Then I just started making my way up some of the other pillars. You know, I got one of the crystals, and then I just used my bow to get some of the others, which I was getting, and you know, I was making some pretty decent progress in the end as well. So that I just continued getting some of the end crystals, and I think after about, you know, 10-ish minutes in the end, it finally occurred to me that I could just one-hit this dragon. So I walked up, one hit, life-changing, won the game, beat the game,